Well, hello guys, welcome. This is an interesting little perspective here, but I guess that's the whole point of monthly recap. So yesterday I did my first monthly recap that I actually uploaded it on YouTube. I always go over my past trades. I always review my journals and all that fun stuff. But now I want to start, publishing a few more, or just, all of them, especially regarding the $25,000 challenge and the unlimited now account that we've migrated it to. So I think you guys are going to love the stats that we're going to pull out of Trade Journal this time. I got some really interesting lessons, and also I added some major events that I got from my personal journal as well. So it's kind of funny. I think you're going to remember a lot of these events, and you're going to be like, wow, that's what it was. For example, the mailman, that was last month in June. So let's go to the charts now, or let's go to the screen and then dive into the goodies. By the way, guys, if you want to go right to the link, click up here, it's going to pop up. It's also going to be in the first comment, the first pinned comment below. Like always, guys, don't forget to drop a like if you enjoy the content. And if you're totally new here, consider subscribing. I would love to have you join the community. It is growing like crazy, and it's really good fun, I gotta say. All right, guys, so without further ado, let's go to the trading screen now, and then you guys can get back to your 4th of July weekend. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, quick little fun fact. If you have been on the streams and you're not really sure what's going on, or if you're totally new to this channel and you would like to prep this weekend or whenever you want, whenever you see this, before joining the live streams, before live trading, check out the first link in the video description below. I got a brand new video series out that you guys can watch. Just go to the video link description below, link in the video description below, and you guys will get everything you need to get started. All right, guys, welcome to the post, and this is the post that I was talking about earlier, and it's also in the first pinned comment below. So June 2020, day trading how-to, that's the series you guys have access to, obviously. How-to events that happened to me and the rules that were kind of the big takeaways for me. So oh, you know what? Maybe I could zoom in a little bit here. Whew. Maybe one more. Oh yeah. Okay, wait. All right, now we're getting crazy. Here we go. So let's do this, and this is pretty good. I think that you guys could read it from here, but you guys could also pull it up on your own chart. So anyway, I was like, wait, why does it say July here? That's because I just published it. Anyway, June was really a month of big changes for me. We started off with a kind of serious back and forth for me. Honestly, when I went through the stats, I was like, yeah, I totally remember that. Like I was getting a little bit off of my lull streak with the 25K challenge. It was just, when you're limited on trades, you start second guessing yourself. You start trading things that aren't really relevant to the screen, for example, or what's going on in front of you. For example, you might only have 1 or 2 trades on the day. So you start holding positions. You're like, oh, let me hold this a little bit longer. Let me hold this a little bit longer because it's my last trade, right? And that's how you start tripping over yourself. So at the beginning of June, I was tripping over myself a lot. And here's actually my stats page. So we have the 2 portfolios, unlimited and 25K challenge, and we have the date range here. So here's my quick stats on it. And mind you, this is actually not too bad based on our average position size. So we walked away basically making, like, what is this? I would probably say like 60 to 70% on our average position size. That's not bad growth. That's actually pretty nice. But the problem was our average winners and our total winners and our total losers. So my win-loss ratio was really weak last month. It's probably like one of the worst months it's ever been. But the good part is my win-loss ratio was nice, was actually pretty nice. We'll talk about this one a little bit more. My largest winners and my largest losers were pretty okay. I mean, what I did right last month was really manage my risk. Then you guys can obviously see all the trades here. Actually, a big thing that we'll talk about in a little bit is the fact that, when we were doing the challenge, you can see that, we had tiny position sizes, like sometimes $500, sometimes $600. And then when we switched the unlimited account, you can see that, I started taking bigger position size. And I think for the first time this month, I just had like an over $2,000 position, which isn't mind-blowing at all. I mean, I trade bigger than that, but just part of, the streaming gap and go challenge and all the stuff we do here on YouTube. That's kind of like where the progress is. So like I said before, my risk reward 2.3 to 3.8, and that's coming from right over here. So average win, this is like my reward, and then average loss, this is my risk. So my risk to reward is a pretty good ratio. And when you break it down a little bit more to make it more readable, it's about 1.1 to 1.9. So that's not too bad. With scalp trading, day trading, you're typically looking for 1 to 1.5 risk reward. Ideally, you're trying to shoot for 1.2 or 1 to 1 to 2 to 1 to 3, right? But oftentimes, you're up 4%, you're up 5%, and then before you know it, you're in the red again. So you like to take profits a little bit quicker. Again, if you guys are totally new here, I definitely recommend checking out tradejournal.co/connect, and you can get kind of the video series so you know where my stops are, you know where I look to take profits. This should all be kind of in the back of your head. And we're not going to really talk about all those things in this video. But yeah, major events. I think you guys are going to like this for you diehards out there that are on the streams. So on the 2nd was actually the first time we streamed longer. So we've been streaming now since I think November. It's been a while. Looking back at it, it's been crazy fun. We've really built a super crazy community, super helpful, educational. I couldn't be more kind of proud and stoked about it. So on the 2nd of June was the first time we traded till 11:45. That's kind of crazy. And this is also when I was doing my fast. So I was already in my 24-hour fast, and that was really good fun. I was just about to end it. Yeah, I felt so much clarity. I loved it. And that's actually a big reason why I ended up going to 11:45 p.m. I mean, a.m. They should say a.m. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I just realized that. On the 3rd, the next day, that's when the mailman attacked the door. Well, attacked maybe is a little bit of a strong word, but basically, if you guys remember, he was, it was like an intern mail guy. It was crazy. He was ringing my door like 3 times. And honestly, you guys could check out the video on this. I leave during the stream, wouldn't leave. And eventually he gets into the kind of apartment building, and then he's knocking on my door, and I'm like, what is going on here? And usually whatever, it's not a big deal. I don't want to be like complaining or anything like that. It was just at 9:30 a.m. It was right when the market opened. It couldn't have been worse. And the cherry on top was the fact that I even made sure no packages would be delivered to the house. There's a Dropbox station like down the road where all packages are supposed to go, and he apparently messed that up. And then he was like asking me questions. Do you know where this person lives? Do you know where this person lives? I'm like, I was that guy. I was like, listen, I gotta go, like, good luck. That was a ridiculous time. Anyway, that was a red day for me. On the 6th, I met Arnu, one of the subscribers on the channel who lives in Berlin. That was pretty cool. And I broke 5K subs, so awesome stuff there on the 6th. The 9th, I actually had a bigger loss on the 9th. And that allowed me to create a new rule. I said, you know what? This big loss came all pre-market. And I was like, you know what? Half pre-market and bad setups or setups I'm not that good at, like breakouts, for example. I'm just going to be trading half position size because I don't have, I don't want to start my day that big in the red. I would rather, learn a little bit pre-market in terms of like get a feel for the market, make a little bit of money, maybe make a small loss, doesn't really matter. But I don't want to have a big, big red day pre-market, and then maybe even be, shot out of my trades, because you guys know my 3-rule system. And if you don't, I'll link the video maybe somewhere, but 3 strikes and I'm out basically. And there's 3 different types of strikes. On the 11th, we hit 125 likes, lives on the live stream. That's a spelling issue. That was kind of cool. On the 14th, I went to the country house, if you guys remember that, for a week. On the 16th, and this is the big part, and if you go to the stats here and you kind of scroll down, you'll see my portfolios, unlimited, and then here, roughly on the 16th, I gotta really scroll down here. At one point, it switches from the 25K challenge. The 25K challenge we're still doing, but we're moving it to swing trading. That way I can have 2 different kinds of trading strategies on YouTube. So that was a huge shift for me. And at first, since we were in the country house, I took it very calm. I didn't do any more trading than when we were in the cash account, and I didn't trade more aggressively. I was just like, you know what, let me do at least 1 week of adjusting. And then we were back in Berlin. So those are kind of like, not like game changer events, but I think like looking back at it, those were events that I'm like, wow, okay, I remember that. Those, I probably won't forget them anytime soon. Repetitive lessons. So I have, many of you guys know this. I have a
notepad here where I write my watch list on every time, and elite gappers and some thoughts, and these were, and then I also have my journal, and then I also have trade journal, and these are repetitive things I noticed in all of my notes. Sometimes I go into the market being a little bit over biased. I have kind of like, okay, this stock, I don't know why it's up, I'm just not going to trade it. Although that ends up being the best opportunity. So sometimes not being overly biased, not writing things off, or sometimes not being overly, optimistic, just kind of, being open to whatever is in front of me and kind of trading what's in front of me. Really, sometimes I do get overly biased, and I sometimes miss trades off of that, or, make mistakes, or just, taking a step back, what am I looking at right now? And then kind of deciding off of that. You guys probably hear me say this all the time, like, oh, can't be biased, got to keep an open mind. Because sometimes I really, write stocks off, and I'm just like, nope, I'm not going to trade that. So I want to avoid that a little bit more. Stick to the original plan out of the gates. I think this is a really, really big one. There's so many times where there's just a giant move to the upside, or a nice red to green move, or a perfect flat top breakout, and then I miss that. I'm just like, and the worst part is, we'll be talking about that's probably going to happen pre-market, the first thing on the stream, and I'm just like, and then after that happens, I'm just thinking like, why? How did I miss that move? That was the move that I was talking about I want to trade. And that really not just bums me out a little bit, but it creates FOMO that I missed something. And then I start looking for trades and jumping in less quality trades because I missed that original trade that I wanted. So I don't know, you guys probably have maybe similar feelings here, but calling out moves pre-market and you miss those moves, sometimes that really bothers me quite a bit. We already talked about this, half size during non-ideal hours. So if I'm trading a breakout at noon, I'm not going to go full position size. If I'm trading pre-market with light volume, I'm not going to go all full position size, and things like that. If I'm trying out a new setup, I'm not going to go all position size. It's not rocket science. It's pretty straightforward. I just want to kind of iterate that because it's quite important. Like, it kind of a powerful lesson. I mean, being a good trader really all boils down to one thing, I think, and that is, can you manage your risk properly based on your own personality? And once I kind of understood how important risk management is, and that not every trade is created equal, and yada yada, the list goes on and on, I was like, oh my God, why am I trading each trade, like my best setup and my worst setup, with the same position size? It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't make sense. And it's not that you want to totally discount, let's say, breakouts if you're not good at trading breakouts, because maybe you want to get good at breakouts, and maybe there's a lot of money to be made with trading breakouts, or maybe if you miss a breakout, it gives you FOMO. So you don't want to not trade it, but just be conscious about the fact that if this is not your best setup, why are you going all in for per se? I mean, never go all in, but I'm just saying, like, full allocation, I guess you could say. Yeah, so these are pretty important things. We'll review some trades in a little bit. Some other notes. This is actually a lot of trade journal specific stuff. I realized that trade journal needs to show more stats on patterns. So I was going through my stats and I was like, you know what? I have all these patterns here. You guys can see it, like pullback, support line bounce, breakout, yada yada. And I was like, well, I would have really liked to see which pattern was my best pattern, which you can figure out. Obviously, you would have to do a little bit of manual work. Like I could click on breakout, right? And then I say apply. Let me think. And then these stats will be updated. So let's click apply. So yeah, now you can see that my breakouts, total winners are 10, total losers are 12. So this is actually not the best strategy. Average win though is bigger than average loss. So my risk reward is tight. It's good. This is great. I mean, this really shows you why you can become profitable day trading. You can't predict the market, yada yada. I'm not trying to predict the market. No day trader is trying to predict anything. We understand that there's setups that typically yield certain results, right? We know what to look for, and we understand that if those setups don't work, all we have to do is take a loss, cut our position, and if it does work, then you take profits. And the whole goal is to have a good risk reward setup. So if you're risking $1, you have the potential to make $3, even if you have a win-loss ratio from 43% winners, 52% losers, and 1%, or 4% scratches. You're still going to be profitable, and that's why, like, It's really that simple. It's just like, being like a poker player or something like that. You're not necessarily gambling because you're calculating expected results. And if the expected result on a hand is well, I can't really talk about poker that well because I don't know it, but you have your equity in the pot, you have expected value, and if those are positive for the hand, then you play it, right? So, and if it's negative, then you don't play it. It's really that simple. And then over the long run, even with a 50-50, maybe like coin toss kind of results, you're still going to be profitable because you have good risk reward. And that's really what trading boils down to in a nutshell. I mean, it's when that clicked in my head, that's really I can't really expand on how important that is. I'm actually going to take a screenshot of this, and so you guys can see these, and let me actually duplicate this, and then let me go back over here to let me quickly pull back. First pullback. Here we go. Pull back, and I'm going to say apply. So we have the breakout stats, and then we have the pullback. These are the two patterns that I trade the most. That's why I'm kind of pulling these up. So you can see this one yielded much better results. Although the risk reward is actually worse on this one. That's kind of an interesting to note. But my total winners is more. So this one's much better, yield me bigger profit. I also traded this much more. Total trades 51, total trades here 23. So that's also something to take away. But it looks like I'm better at trading pullbacks, and we'll talk about what the pullbacks are in a second. So yeah, so I want to work on the patterns a little bit more so it's easier to see what the best patterns are. It would also be cool to see what the whole community, what the best patterns are for the whole community. So that's also something else to think about. Yeah, and we're working on right now, Trade Journal is working on a chart and calendar, a P&L chart and calendar, so you can see how much if it was, how much you made, how much you lost every single day, and then, how many trades you did on that day. Profile pages are coming out. I noticed that, pullbacks here, I trade a lot. Let me go back to here. Well, that's all breakouts. I was like, wait, I don't trade that many breakouts. Pullbacks, I trade quite often. It was my most traded thing. So I would like to maybe get a little bit more specific on trading pullbacks. Like, is this a 1 minute pullback? Is this a 9 minute EMA pullback? What kind of pullback is it? And then also, actually, here we go. Let me quickly go back to my stats. Let me duplicate this. And then another pattern I actually trade quite often is a dip buy. Now, the difference that, you might think like, what's the difference between a dip buy and a pullback? And honestly, it's like on the chart pattern, there's an obvious difference. It's a whole different setup. But you guys systematically, I don't know, grammar wise, it's confusing, right? Because what's a pullback? What's a dip, right? It's kind of the same thing, and a lot of people use it interchangeably. The way I kind of used it for kind of my own accountability is a dip buy is a very is a real dip buy. So let me just the stock is going down. So right here, CTIB, what is this? Bought the dip near support. So this is a dip buy. We're right here. I bought a bigger pullback, and that is just pretty straightforward. We're pulling back. The price is pulling back. We're not breaking out and pulling back. It's dipping down. This is probably not the cleanest chart to show you that one. Let me just pull up another one. This one. So here stock pulls back. That's a dip buy. This to me is a pullback. This again is a dip buy. So let's quickly go to our pullbacks. These should also make a lot of sense. Actually, let me go to back to the post, and we're going to talk about these in a second. So here are two pullbacks. These are really two clean setups that I liked a lot. Remember, like you're like, okay, $79, that's not a lot of money, but percentage-wise, this is 11% trade. So just focus on that. This position size is just tiny. I was using very, very small position size last month. Okay, so let's scroll back up here, click on this image, and maybe zoom in a little bit. Can we do that? Yeah, nice. So here's a classic pullback. Here, we break above the 9-minute EMA. This is a breakout right here, and 5-minute chart, you can usually see that as well. So down here, you see the 5-minute chart. You can see here, we're having a 5-minute breakout, and then on the 1-minute chart, we're having a very nice, clear 1-minute pullback. So this is a pullback. We had a breakout from resistance, and we're having a pullback, right? And then we continue moving up here. This is almost like a picture-perfect textbook classic trade. Let's say I was trying to buy pullbacks in here and eventually the price crashes. Now at this point, under VWAP, I would be buying dips. That's actually probably a really easy way to explain it. If I'm under VWAP, I'm basically dip buying. If I'm above VWAP, I'm basically buying pullbacks. And I think that might be the easiest way to kind of explain it. The only problem is that's not actually true for this example right here because, we're breaking higher and I bought the pullback for the continuation. But just think, a dip is really when the price is falling down. A pullback is like a quick entry looking for a continuation and a rip to the upside. A dip buy might just be, I'm not looking for the price to reverse, I'm just looking for a dip. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I might have to explain that a little bit better. Well, something for me to work on. Let's go to the other trade here that I found like was really, really clean. Let's open this on up. Let me click on it. So again, this is a classic pullback, and let's go through here. Nice breakout above VWAP and a healthy pullback to the 9-minute EMA. Really happy about this one. Again, 10, 11% profit on this one. Tiny position size. This is when I was doing the challenge. I was using very, very small position size. Yeah, so just keep that in mind. So here we have a really, really healthy pullback. Kind of a bull flag as well. We crack under the 9-minute EMA twice, but the volume is really selling off here. And then we started, breaking back to the upside. And I bought into here, into the pullback, into the anticipation that we would be running to the upside. Now, if I bought this move right here, what do you think you would call this one? Well, to me, I'm only calling it pullbacks if we are dipping or like running back to the 9-minute EMA. So this one, we broke out and we're having a quick pullback to the 9-minute EMA. Here, I'm not looking really for a quick pullback and a reversal. I would be dip buying into maybe a support bounce right here. I would not be expecting this to have a reversal unless, clearly I was thinking, okay, this could be a red to green move. I could see how there's a lot of kind of like mixed semantics in here, but for me, it makes total sense. And I think ultimately, trading has to make sense for you. I always say this, you want to make trading so simple that you can explain it to anybody, because if you can't, then you're probably overcomplicating something. You probably don't understand it fully yourself. So, this is the gap and go trading strategy, and it's something that I'm still fairly new to. I've probably been trading this one about 6 months now. It's a new thing for me overall. I was more of a support and resistance swing trader for several years. Now it's kind of my main strategy, and that's what I do with all my main accounts pretty much. If it's crypto, if it's swing trading, if it's in my investing, that's kind of like my main bread and butter. So, but the thing about that is you almost never have to be online for swing trading, right? You check it a little bit in the morning and that's it, which is great, and that's why I love it. However, I wanted to like do a little bit of active trading every day, and that's where the gap and go challenge is great, because you're only focused for just up to 2 hours really, and then you are done with trading on the day. And that is a really, really nice active way to do it. So for me, my 3 patterns really are the dip buys, the breakouts, and red to green move, and then the pullback. Those are like my 4 things that I trade the most. Let's talk about, actually, let me quickly show you guys let's see if the breakouts, how clean they are. These are kind of hard to say. Let's go to this one, $69 profit. So this one's pretty cool. Right here, I bought into the 9-minute EMA, waiting for this to break out, and it was already getting chipped away, right? So I bought into the sell. So right here, for example, let's say the $3 right here is getting chipped away, and let's say it was 300 shares. It went from 300 to, 250, 200, 150. Me buying the ask, that would be for me buying a breakout. So if I do that, that's what I call a breakout. So these are not my best patterns. I'm a slippery slope when it comes to these. What were the dip buys again? The dip buys we're at 55. So it looks like dip buys for me are pretty good. So, but the problem is, look at this. So my average wins is much better, but here all of a sudden the win-loss ratio is not very good. The average wins, average losers. So it looks like when I buy these, oftentimes I get skunked on a continuation to the downside. So really interesting takeaway there. I don't think I was looking at that as much. While when I buy the pullbacks, I have nicer winning trades, but also, losing trades is a little bit more risky as well. And let's see, when I buy breakouts, I think breakouts, surprisingly good stats, but probably just because I don't do them enough. I don't know. Let me quickly go back here, go back down to breakouts. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about with the breakouts and kind of a lot to review. You guys can also review all of my trades on Trade Journal once the profile page is uploaded. At the moment, the profile page does not yet work, so that's going to be the big thing that we're waiting for. Let's quickly talk about the biggest winner, the biggest losers, and then just some things to wrap up here that you guys might find really helpful, especially if you're totally new here. So this is my biggest winner. We had a pullback trade on the 25K challenge. And what was the position size on this one actually? Oh yeah, 12.8. And the position size, $484. That's tiny. Okay, so this is it. This is the second one right here. Yeah, so 242 was the entry. 242, and then we sold at 273. This was pretty sweet. So we had a nice breakout here. Let's see if you guys can guess. Is this a dip buy or a pullback? Right? I guess you guys already know, but yeah, so because we just talked about it over here on this page. But basically, this is a pullback because we're breaking out and we're pulling back to the 9-minute EMA, right? This, on the other hand, is a dip buy because we're pulling back. I'm not looking to try to have a reversal or anything here. Yeah, and then the price keeps on rallying through here. This is really, really nice. So I was looking for the break of 2.6. Is that what I said here? Let's see. I cracked the resistance zones, got aggressive here, reduced position size, sold into the spike. Yeah, no, I don't really say that, but I bought the pullback here looking for the break of about 2.6. So we had that break, and then we ran all the way up here to past 2.8. So I sold this way too early. I sold this somewhere in this area. I could have, held this much, much longer. So yeah, nice little pullback trade. And then let's talk about our biggest loser. This was a VWAP pullback. So our biggest loser was also a pullback, bigger position size, unfortunately. Let's quickly see here. Yeah, okay, I remember this one. A lot going on here, but focus on the pre-market right here. Let me quickly go and yeah. So here I was, you might think, Alex, you bought all the way down here, but actually 16, 17, I bought like somewhere in this area. So we had a breakout here. And I was looking for, let's see how much volume was here. This is pre-market. So we actually had pretty decent volume here. But the pullback was strong. On a pullback, you don't want to see an increase in volume. Oh, I just realized my head's in the way. Okay, so this is right here. So we had the breakout here, but then the pullback had increasing volume. That's a huge red flag. So let me scroll back up. So I eventually just got out of this trade for a nice hefty loss. And this is actually on my biggest red day. This is that big red day that I was like, you know what, pre-market, like I don't want to take any unnecessary risks. So that's kind of how you learn lessons. That's how you constantly improve your trading strategy and just constantly reviewing, thinking, how you can reduce risk, but still kind of keep the reward there. That's really what trading is all about. So guys, if you are curious in learning more about trading, I put an example stream here. Why did I do that? Oh yeah, now I remember why I did this. So this is, I'm not going to show you guys the stream. I mean, you guys could obviously do that in your own time. But what I do want to show you guys, and if you guys just want to recap some of my live trades, see the trades happen in real time. Obviously, the live streams are all about that. But so you guys don't have to look around forever and try to figure out, where are the entries. At the end of every trading day, I always timestamp all of the trades. So I hope that's helpful for you guys. I actually watch this quite a bit myself, but so far I never really get any comments under it or anything like that. But if you guys do like it, I don't know, I'm going to keep doing it for now. So just, go there, check out the live trades if you're interested in that. Click here for the foundation video series. This is all about if you're totally new and you don't want to watch like my 100+ recap videos, which, you know, is debatable, but this is like an hour-long video series, and you can get pretty much caught up to speed after watching that. You know, just watch it on ×2 speed, and you will have a nice foundation. Plus, you'll have a checklist of everything you should be looking for, and I think that's really important. Stats filters. Yeah, so this is just the filter that I used. Some little important takeaway, besides obviously the date. For me, I used 2 portfolios because this was a transition month. So next month, I'm gonna be, I could kind of switch it up. We can review the swing trades, and then we can also review the unlimited account. So if we go to portfolios right now, you can see I have the crypto portfolio, the unlimited portfolio, the 25K challenge, and the swings. The swings and the 25K challenge are kind of the same thing now, so I might have to merge these somehow. I don't know, I'll have to think about that. But yeah, guys, I think that is the full June recap. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys were able to, you know, learn something or see some sort of pattern that I have and that maybe you have as well. And hopefully you can do some adjustments to your own trading to benefit or to, you know, constantly improve. So I hope that, yeah, I hope that this recap was just as helpful for you as it was for me. Leave any questions and comments below. I answer all of them myself. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button. I really, really appreciate it. And if you're totally new here and you're not subscribed yet, ask yourself, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and I will see you guys in my next video and definitely on Monday for the next live trading session. So guys, I will see you then. Till then, stay safe, make some awesome trades. Have a great 4th of July weekend. Ciao, ciao.